I get a lot of people asking, what are the chances of me getting back with my ex? What are the chances that they're going to contact me? What are the chances that we can reconcile? Leaving your relationship up to hope is one of the worst things that you can do. You end up relying on luck rather than actual skill and science in order to repair a relationship. So in this video, I'm going to talk about how to get your ex back according to science. So I get the panic feeling that can happen during a breakup when you realize that you really want this person, you really want to repair it, and you want to make sure that you don't screw up again. The hardest step is always the first one, which is repairing the relationship. How do I get them to come back to repair this relationship? Oftentimes we figure out who we want to be and how we want to show up, and we realize that we've fallen short. We can get caught in this loop of hoping that our ex will return back to us rather than actually doing anything about it. So I want to talk about some of the things to avoid and what to do, scientifically speaking, in order to repair a relationship and get your ex back. So the first step is to stop chasing and start leading. This may sound a little bit vague, but ultimately you don't win anyone back by clinging, by being needy, by begging. You win them back by stepping into who you want to be, becoming the best version of yourself that they can't ignore. And there's science behind this. This is all about building what we call self-efficacy. So self-efficacy is your belief in your ability to influence your own life and your own outcomes. And a high self-efficacy is key to building and rebuilding attraction, as people are attracted to other people with high self-efficacy. It's an attractive trait to have. And this is so crucial. So many people miss this step. Or they think, well, I am the best version of myself. I'm done. That's it. I've changed everything. I just need them to come back now, right? But when they try to reconnect, they don't show up in the ways that matter. So by showing up in the right way, by leading, it's really important that you start to rebuild your identity without them, building yourself back in the right ways. New habits, new passions, new growth, looking at your flaws and where you can improve. Start to take back who you are by becoming the best partner that you possibly can be. But this means that you need to glow up in silence. So if you want to lead a relationship back into the best place and you are growing, this means you need to stop doing this, look how great I'm doing on TikTok or Instagram or anything like that. This is building your internal power quietly. If you think about it this way, who are the people who feel most insecure about money? They're the people who desperately try to show to everyone about how rich they are. It doesn't show power, it actually shows quite a lot of weakness, because it means that they have to brag, they have to constantly publicly celebrate their wins to get external validation, right? It doesn't mean that they're not rich, it just means that they are constantly thinking about how money equals power, as an example. It's not about showing off, it's not about telling the world how good you're doing. The right people will know if you have the right processes. Right? The best products often don't really need to market themselves that much. Word of mouth gets around. The next step, scientifically speaking, is to rebuild attraction and not just connection. In a relationship, it's not just about being in the relationship. It's the feeling of being around you. It was the emotions that they felt being around you. And this is often when people get confused thinking, well, they don't want to be in contact with me. They don't want to talk with me right now. It's because the last few times that they have spoken with you, they have connected with you, they haven't felt good. And usually this is because you have trauma dumped on them, or you have argued with them, or you've invalidated them. You haven't made them feel good in that moment, right? So your job to repair a relationship scientifically isn't to talk them into coming back. It's to build the emotional intelligence and spark the emotional experience that they once had with you and level it up. And this is where the deep science starts to come in. Work on your emotional intelligence. If you don't understand them, what they're going through, this is a skill gap for you, right? In order to develop this understanding and understand why they don't necessarily feel good being around you right now. Building your emotional intelligence shows them you've grown without having to persuade them, without having to tell them. They'll be able to feel it. They'll be able to feel safe around you. It's that good fuzzy feeling, being around someone, knowing that you can tell them anything without having any negative repercussions from them. Working on your emotional intelligence is not just owning your part in how the relationship broke down, but this is being able to listen deeply, be able to show a deep understanding, speaking clearly and calmly. And this is psychologically so important around other people. If they don't feel that you are secure within yourself, or you have this desperate need for validation from them, etc., then they don't feel safe. And if you are in the process of reconnecting, make sure that it's fun. Don't fully go deep into deep, complex emotional talks too early. Go for coffee, creating a light environment. But then as conversations do dig in deeper, you can show in small moments that it's safe to talk about tough things. It's safe to talk about how they feel. It's safe to talk about criticisms about you without there being any negative repercussions for that. And what this does over time is that this starts to reintroduce novelty. And this is psychology. The psychology shows that shared new experiences of having conversations that you've never had before increases dopamine, because it shows them that they're able to talk about things that they've never shared before. And becoming a good partner, this is leading conversations that many people don't have. If you want to be an incredible partner, you need to provide value that nobody else can. So if you're able to handle conversations, deep conversations that they can't necessarily have with anyone else, this increases dopamine, and this starts to rebuild connection way faster than any of the X-back advice that you see online. These special little one-off lines that feel good in the moment, but you can't recreate. Being able to increase that emotional intelligence scientifically is the key to rebuilding this relationship and ultimately getting your ex back. Because scientifically, attraction isn't logical, it's emotional. You don't convince someone to come back, you inspire them to come back. The next step, scientifically speaking, is to create a new relationship, not repeat an old relationship. That old relationship has shown over and over again that it is not sustainable, right? So when you're trying to reattract an ex, you're trying to create a relationship that has already shown scientifically that it doesn't work. So in order to reattract an ex back, this is about creating a whole new dynamic, but with the same person, right? So to do this, make sure that you're unpacking what broke. This is about being a scientist yourself, not just looking at symptoms or we fought a lot, but looking at the deep root causes. This is how to scientifically analyze where the pitfalls are in the relationship and being able for you to take the responsibility to start navigating how to overcome that. So for example, if you look at the symptom, we fought a lot, start to dig down. What is the root cause? For example, I never felt emotionally safe enough to be vulnerable. And that is something now that I can fix, and I can figure out how to provide that safety for myself so that I can be vulnerable in the right way. It's not just about becoming a scientist of your relationship, having a vision, being able to identify what a new version of the relationship would look like, understanding what you're looking to be as a partner and being able to lead that in the right direction is a skill. This is a skill that you can build, and you can start to shift the dynamic. If you are not working on changing the dynamic of the relationship, you're ultimately accepting it. And if you're accepting it, then when you're trying to reattract your ex back, that basically is telling them this is going to be the same old relationship. So if you were, for example, overly anxious in the relationship, start to become grounded, start to put in the action steps in order to change that. If you were avoidant, or whatever phrase you want to use, if you avoided difficult conversations and difficult emotional situations, start to learn how to show up emotionally. If you were controlling, start to learn how to release and to trust other people. The next step is to rebuild trust deliberately. So getting your ex back is one thing. I often say this to members, getting your ex back is the easy part. It's keeping the relationship and building it into something better. That is the difference. And that is why if you're going through a breakup right now, your partner has seen the cycle of breaking up or getting close to breaking up, getting back together, but nothing changing long term. This is why there is no quick fix to getting an ex back, repairing a relationship, no matter what people are trying to sell you. They're not based around building a strong relationship. So being able to keep a relationship strong requires consistent, trustworthy behavior. And this all links down to the psychology of trust theory. Trust theory is that building trust in yourself and creating consistent actions actually generates trust towards you from other people. In trusting in yourself and building that consistency over time, that generates trust from your partner or ex-partner, where they start to trust you more, which creates a positive feedback loop, generating an environment for you both to trust each other. And this means you need very solid processes in order to be predictable, in order to cultivate that trust, to show that day in, day out, no matter what the weather is happening around, you're able to weather that storm, right? This is about being predictable to build trust. This doesn't mean boring, but trust grows through small acts of reliability. Following through, texting when you say you will, showing up on time. What's the phrase? Being about it, not talking about it. Trust is built in very small moments. It's built in not just what you say, it's about how you show up. It's about you following through with what you say you're going to do. It's when your actions and your words align. That is the difficult part. That is the part that is most important. Next step, scientifically speaking, is learn how to fight like a grown-up. Most couples don't fall apart from a lack of love. They fall apart from emotional immaturity during conflict. And fixing this is the absolute topmost mission critical. John Gottman, who has done a lot of studies into relationships, he has the 4 horsemen: criticism, defensiveness, contempt, and stonewalling. Toxic communication patterns, right? These are guaranteed to send a relationship in the wrong direction. So it's not about not disagreeing, it's about learning how to disagree in the right ways and making sure that you're replacing the toxic communication with solid communication. If you're wanting to disagree, learning how to disagree in the right ways that still builds emotional safety, and that is crucial. And this again builds trust. It's learning how to be able to disagree and be able to get to the solution for both of you. Creating the win-win situation is the most crucial thing. And that again becomes a skill issue. Learning how to scientifically have a good conversation, a solid conversation, a communication, a conflict in a healthy way is going to be crucial for repairing a relationship. And in fact, there's a quote by John Gottman, which is, it's not about never fighting, it's about repairing and learning faster each time. That is what is ultimately going to reattract a partner back, is that if they can see over time that this is not about not disagreeing, this is about learning how to do it and getting closer each time towards repair. Like I said earlier, repairing a relationship is not about having one conversation and then you're suddenly back together and everything's fine. It's about a process. A process takes time and iteration. And you're doing it scientifically, then you're always getting closer and closer towards that goal for both of you. But then most of all, scientifically, learning how to upgrade your identity. You don't want to win them back just as you are now. You want to win them back as the version of yourself that never loses relationships to the same patterns again, right? Learning the pattern that you fall into and upgrading yourself so much that that pattern no longer exists. Where a lot of my members have found so useful is having a growth plan moving forward. Regardless, you have a plan on how to grow moving forward. This isn't just about upgrading your workouts or your sleep routine or whatever it is. This is about learning the skills that you want to learn as you become the new version of you. This is what all my members have found so useful, is being able to look at their higher purpose on who they want to show up as, regardless of anything else. Who they want to be in the world is going to be crucial to being able to show up as the best version of yourself. This is more than just getting an ex back. This is about becoming a version of you that becomes the partner that you want to be. The strong, healthy partner that can cultivate long-term a healthy relationship. And if you want to start that journey, then join my Relationship Bootcamp, which is where you can learn the fundamentals and start to identify the gaps in your knowledge as to where you want to go. The bootcamp is where all of my members start before we start working together. So if you do want to join us, just click on the link in the description to grab your spot. So this can involve therapy, can involve coaching, but ultimately making sure that you are taking action on not only creating a plan, but also executing on that plan moving forward. And this plan doesn't have to involve anyone else around you. It can involve just you. Growing is always going to be a solo project. Doesn't mean that other people can't join you and walk alongside you at some point, but growing and repairing a relationship only requires one person. A lot of people can fall for this idea that it takes two to tango. It's a nice catchphrase, makes us feel good in walking away from a relationship, but it doesn't necessarily ring true. Repairing a relationship doesn't have to involve two people. If you do it right and you learn how to lead a relationship in the right direction, you can actually turn things around by yourself. I've done a deeper dive video on that, which I'll link to up above. So I'm going to leave you with that deeper dive video into how to turn a relationship around by yourself, and I will see you over there.